Don't defy the law. Boris strikes back at Macron as crossing the line, riding roughshod over TCA laws. Mr. Macron has warned that unless Britain made a significant move to ease the dispute over licenses to fish in British waters, Paris would introduce more stringent port and border checks from Tuesday. The dispute with France was triggered by decisions made by the authorities in the UK and Jersey over licenses for small French boats to operate in British waters, with officials arguing permission can only be given to vessels which can demonstrate a history of fishing there. French President Emmanuel Macron has stepped back from his threat of punitive action against the UK over fishing rights, saying talks should continue. Mr. Macron once said after discussions with Boris Johnson it was decided talks need to continue and suggested that threatened measures will be held off. Speaking on the fringes of COP26 in Glasgow, he said, "Since this afternoon, discussions have resumed on the basis of a proposal I made to Prime Minister Johnson." However, Boris Johnson yesterday afternoon vowed to stand by Jersey as he attacked Emmanuel Macron for issuing menacing threats in a post-Brexit fishing row. The Prime Minister met with Jersey Chief Minister, Senator John Lafondra, and the island's Minister for External Relations to discuss the recent escalation in rhetoric from Paris. Mr. Macron's government had demanded Britain and the Channel Islands issue more fishing licenses for French vessels to operate in UK waters or face retaliation. They warned they would be willing to cause disruption to shipments from the continent and even cut off electricity supplies unless their demands were met. Mr. Johnson this afternoon renewed his support to protect Jersey from any fallout over the fishing row. A UK government spokesman said, "The Prime Minister met with Jersey Chief Minister, Senator John Lafondra, and the Minister for External Relations, Senator Ian Gorst, earlier today. He underlined the strength of the UK/Jersey relationship and committed to continue working closely together on issues of mutual importance." On fishing licenses, the Prime Minister reaffirmed his support for Jersey's approach, which has been reasonable and fully in line with the Trade and Cooperation Agreement, TCA. He noted that both the UK and Jersey were issuing licenses on basis of evidence of historic fishing activity, as required by the TCA. Under the terms of the Brexit trade deal struck last December, fisheries which can prove they have access to UK waters for at least one day a year for 4 years must be granted licenses giving them permission to continue to do so. Officials in London say all those who have provided the necessary evidence have been given permits. Mr. Johnson told Jersey the actions of the French government were unjustified, as he warned any action taken by Paris to follow through on their threats would break international law. The spokesman added, "The Prime Minister said that France's recent threats were unjustified and would have breached the TCA. He reiterated that the UK would continue to stand behind Jersey in the event that they were carried through, although he welcomed their deferral and said he hoped that they would be taken off the table permanently." Both sides agreed that they would continue to assess new evidence in support of the remaining license applications and that technical discussions with the EU Commission and France would continue. The TCA refers to the post-Brexit free trade agreement signed on December 30, 2020, between the EU and the UK. Mr. Macron appeared to backtrack on his threats 2 weeks ago when he announced he was suspending the implementation of retaliatory measures to allow for talks to continue. The UK had vowed to respond with tough action of its own if France had followed through. Britain has issued almost 1,800 licenses to EU vessels to date. Earlier this year, Mr. Johnson was forced to deploy the Royal Navy to protect Jersey due to a clash over fishing rights. French fishermen prepared to block access to the Channel Islands' main port unless more licenses were issued. The protest failed to materialize once the 2 UK warships patrolled the waters surrounding St. Heliers port.